Hey to all of you guys, what's going on YouTube's 3D Res? Welcome back to a Pokemon Pocket. And Ursiiday's Pocket Weekly number 10 has now concluded. And we have our winner. It doesn't really surprise me, there was a Garydos and Greninja. However, what does surprise me is that the old heads are still very much around. So your Arcanine, Moltres, your Mewtwo's, your Pikachus. Even though Pikachu to a much lesser extent now, it's kind of hanging in there, just about. The Mewtwo's are still all over the place. But the Charizard is slowly creeping back up again, especially with the addition of Arcanine. Now, as you can see here, in the Swiss rounds, it was very much telltale. Mewtwo's, Gyardos, you know the combo by now. They're always going to appear. Always going to appear. But when it comes to the top 32, they fall off. Why is that? Because they're not as consistent as everything else to begin with. So obviously this is the top 32 over here. And I've got to honestly say, it doesn't surprise me, right? That the Mewtwo's are getting only one win. And then they're just getting completely wiped off. Obviously with the exception of Yanlon, who went 3-1. But ultimately, it's the new additions of the Garydoses, and hell, there's even a Aerodactyl and Primeape combo here. Even an Aerodactyl and Primeape combo. You know what I love about these tournaments? Is that every weekend you're going to see something different, something brand new pop out of nowhere. And that's what happens. Before we had the Golem deck, now we've got the Aerodactyl Primeape deck. Obviously, these things are not going to stick week after week. They're not consistent. These are something that's going to be a flash in the pan, so to speak. But it's interesting that these things can creep in. And when they do creep in, they take unexpected wins. Now, obviously, with the Pikachu and the Zebstrika only getting 2 wins and 1 losses, it's kind of interesting what came above that. So obviously we have our bracket for the top 32, and of course you can clearly see what took out what. So yes, the Mewtwo did lose to the Aerodactyl Primeape combo, and yes, a Greninja and Gyardos did also lose to the Aerodactyl and Primeape combo. However, it fell to yet again a Greninja and Gyarados. And that is something that I'm kind of intrigued about, obviously because Gyarados picks into a lot of things. And I just think that 140 damage is a sweet spot. Obviously taking out a lot of stuff, right? You can one-hit a Moltres if you can get it there early. You can obviously take out the Aerodactyl, take out the Primeape in this regard here. You can take out a lot of other stuff. But I think the most important thing that like grabs out, like just literally glares at me, is the lack of Celebis. Obviously, we've gone over this before. I don't really need to explain to you guys that Celebi, quite frankly, is not tournament ready, even though it's not really tournament viable because of the RNG coin flips and everything. But the lack of it really speaks volumes. And it goes to show that people chase consistency when it comes to the tournament setting. And this is something I really do enjoy looking at every weekend. And of course, every old tournament goes on the side. You guys will see a big trend. And then come for the first couple of days of the week, you will see that trend develop and pretty much incorporate itself into the ladder. So looking at Any here. Any obviously ran the Charizard and Moltres combo. And they obviously only lost once to the Greninja and Gyarados in the finals. I did watch these finals, and they were quite pleasing. At one point, Any actually had on the ropes lead. But lead came back from behind, top decked what they needed the most, and that's what inevitably led to the loss for Any. But what really captivated me the most is that even without the use of Moltres, Growlithe was still on the active. However, the 20 damage of Growlithe was kind of putting it behind. And it was going up against a Magikarp, which, as we know, has 30 HP And of course, any does not run Geo. Does it need to run Geo? For situations like that, I would say so. But you're never going to expect, okay, a poor little Growlithe, poor little Growlithe to be going up against a Magikarp, literally to get you the win. You're never going to expect that. But ultimately, it comes down to the fact that sometimes you will get these scrappy situations. And with certain decks, I would probably say that obviously Lead's deck is the better one, because you have that ability to pick away via the use of Greninja. Although, Lead also runs the Druddigon. Now, we know about this combo time after time again, okay? The Greninja Druddigon combo is literally tried, it's tested, it is proven positive on every single regard. I have it highly in my Water Fire deck. It's just a valuable addition to any deck, no matter what it is. And I think at the moment, whoever puts Druddigon into their deck is going to come out on top. You're either going to get a top 1, a top 2, or a top 3. But it's kind of interesting here that there's only 8 trainers. You got double Pokeball, double Leaf, double Research, and double Misty. Obviously, you don't have your other stuff on the side, like your Geos, your Sabrinas, your X-Speeds, perhaps. There's none of that. It's literally minimal. And that is why you're having 2 of each stuff here. Obviously, 2 Druddigon helping you out. And there is going to be the times where Druddigon doesn't really pay off, so to speak. But that's to be expected, right? And they're going to be tiptoeing around it. And it is something that I find to be very intriguing. Just having a Druddigon there when you're active and your opponent is trying to ramp up their board. Sometimes it doesn't happen, sometimes it does. But of course that's where the double leaf comes into play. Is to bring out that Druddigon and have your other stuff come in there immediately. So such as your Gyarados or your Greninjas. Because obviously Greninja only has a 1 retreat cost. But you're never going to put Gyarados on the active and retreat with it. So that is the whole point of having double leaf in this deck. Outside of Lead and NE, we did, of course, have the top 4 decks. So, Yunlong coming in with the classic Mewtwo, I would say. This is an addition, obviously, with the Mew EX. We know how this works now. Mew EX feels to be complete inside of a Mewtwo deck. And it is running the double Mythical Slab. So, you're trying to find your stuff quickly on curve, if possible. And it really does go to show, even with the addition of blue here, I didn't see these matches. But Yunlong did obviously lose to the Greninja combo. I'm guessing this happened out of the fact that Gyarados completely ripped apart Mewtwo. Either that or Yunlong never got their God of War online. I'm not really sure what happened. But I would love to find out. But I'm pretty sure it's the latter, where Gyarados completely ripped apart Mewtwo. And for that, literally for that reason alone, I love it. Because who doesn't love seeing a Mewtwo get ripped apart? If you say you don't love it, you're weird, okay? You're weird. But of course, we had 9 as well, running the Pikachu and Zebstrika. This one is also another true and tried combo. It is just... It's consistent, okay? But you know what I really I wanted to see so badly? I wanted to see this Finn go up against the Greninja. But instead, unfortunately, it went up against NE's Charizard and Arcanine combo. I feel as if it went up against the Greninja instead, this would have been a different story. Maybe we would have seen Pika in the semis, possibly even the finals. Because obviously at that point it would have gone against another Gyarados and Greninja. But yes, sometimes it just doesn't pan out that way. Even though the Pika and Zebstrika mirror match was up here, it is sometimes just drops on its face. And it goes to show, as I say, that the old heads... they do reign supreme sometimes. And with that addition of the Arcanine in there, it does go to town on a Pikachu, obviously, because it eats into it perfectly with 120 damage. There's nothing that they have in that deck of theirs that can literally survive that at that point. And I just love watching all of this develop. Every time I do one of these, I just think to myself, what new is going to appear? This time around, it was none other than the Aerodactyl Primate, but it didn't really get far at all. It did not. It was more of a flash in the pan compared to the Golem, which obviously went all the way. Ultimately though, I think people are still trying out weird wacky stuff, and you're going to be seeing this weird wacky stuff literally injected into every tournament every weekend. But of course, once we get the big stuff at the end of the month, that's where everything is going to change. But until now, you're going to be getting your same stuff here. You're going to be getting a little small little tidbits in between, but they're not going to be anything prominent. Oh no, they're not going to be anything crazy, anything tournament breaking. It's just mostly going to be your Moltres, your Greninjas, your Gyarados, your Charizards, Pikachus, whatever else it is in between. And of course, at the end of the day, they're trying to fight for $400 here, people. You gotta play what you gotta play to get a consistency. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Really appreciate it. I really appreciate that like button. Hit that subscribe button as well. Let me know in the comments below if you guys watch this, or if you find something to be very intriguing here. Maybe we're gonna run some of the decks. Let me know. Other than that, though, take care, stay safe. All that good stuff. Like you know, what if you're doing it for the next video, next live stream, go out and play some Pokemon Pocket. And goodbye for now. Bye bye.